Today, we want to talk about some graphics questions, one in particular, but graphics questions in general on both the reading and the writing sections are a lot like ACT science sections, okay? Really, your goal on any kind of graphics question is essentially to use PO, right? That's our process of elimination. It's what we would use on basically any given reading comprehension problem. So yes, it still applies even on and especially on graphics questions where you need to be super critical of every word. The difference between the word most versus some versus half, those have numerical meanings and we need to be sure of them before we pick them. So let's look at number 19 here. Which choice best summarizes the information about the states included in figure 1? All right, well, that'd be good to know what that was. Okay, here is figure 1. All right, now anytime I'm looking at a graph, I want to read everything there is to read. I want to read the title, obviously, and then ideally both of the axes, what it's measuring. Okay, so we've got unemployment rates for 10 states in the years 2000 to 2012. Looks like the empty bars are for 2000 and the darkened bars are for 2012. Okay, and yeah, here's our unemployment rate. So if we're trying to best summarize the information, we need to go beyond what is mentioned in it. We need to go beyond one data point worth of information. So let's start eliminating some really silly choices. All right, let's look at A. The unemployment rate of Vermont remained unchanged between 2000 and 2012. Okay, let's see if that's even true. Oh, well, look at that. These two bars are at the same level, 5% in both years, 2000 and 2012. So that's true. I'm just not sure how relevant it is because that was one data point. So I'm calling this true but irrelevant. That's what I mean by TBI, all right? Our process of elimination, which we've covered in a couple other videos so far, entails that there's really only 3 possible ways that an answer choice can be wrong, one being true but irrelevant. The others are contradictory. And the last one is not mentioned. All right, maybe we'll see some of those. Let's take a look. Choice B says North Dakota was the only state to experience a lower unemployment rate in 2012 than it had in 2000. All right, so that means we should be looking at North Dakota. Okay, here we are, and look at that. This bar is in fact higher than the 2012 bar. So 2000 was higher, 2012 was lower. Okay, the only state to experience it. Well, it did experience it, but I bet you, oh, look at that. There was one more state that had the same thing. Not by much, mind you, just a hair. But that by itself is enough to rule out choice B. So that, my friends, is a problem word, the only state. And I would go so far to call that contradictory because it's completely wrong. Now, choice C, states with an unemployment rate greater than 5% in 2000 saw significant increases in unemployment rate in 2012. I'm already getting tired reading this. While states with an unemployment rate 5% or lower in 2000 saw significant decreases in unemployment rate in 2012. Let's look at one part of this at a time because I'm kind of overwhelmed. Okay, let's split it up half and half. We'll check both parts of this. Okay, first, states with an unemployment rate greater than 5% in 2000 saw increases in unemployment in 2012. Let's check that out. Okay, so greater than 5% in 2000. So that's pretty much everything from Michigan to the right. All of these have a year 2000, their unemployment rate was above 5%. And yeah, what we're checking for was, again, looking for a significant increase in unemployment in 2012. Kind of vague, just a significant increase, not to anywhere in particular. So I'd say that checks out. All of them did, in fact, increase going from 2000 to 2012. So, okay, so far so good. Now let's see this. While states with an unemployment rate 5% or lower, first let me check that off, 5% or lower, so probably the left side of the graph, in 2000 saw significant decreases in unemployment in 2012. So let's check all of those, all right? So we're looking now at these guys, all right? The states that started out, I guess that one's kind of cutting it close, but sure, I'll count it as states that started with an unemployment rate less than 5%. And it does look like, okay, here we see a decrease, here we see a decrease, but not here, not there, and not there. All of those are equal or higher. In 2012, they were not all significant decreases, okay? Again, contradictory. Whew. I really hope D is right at this point. Let's just check. States with an unemployment rate of 5% or lower in 2000 were less likely to see severe increases in unemployment in 2012 than were states with an unemployment rate higher than 5% in 2000. Whew. Okay, I want to be lazy and just say, you know what, we proved all the other ones wrong. I think we can call it a day and circle D. But just to make you a little more comfortable with that, okay, there's some pretty friendly, vague language here. They were less likely to see severe increases in unemployment. That's kind of hard to prove wrong. Likelihood? Like, what does that mean? Like, I'm fine with it not being specific, right? Because then I can't rule it out. But let's just check that out, okay? States with unemployment rate 5% or lower. All right, so that was these states: North Dakota, Nebraska, South Dakota, Vermont, Iowa. All these ones that had the shorter 2000 unemployment rate, okay? Only one of them saw like I guess you would call that a significant increase. I don't know what you would call a significant increase, but definitely these are more significant, right? These are really big jumps comparatively. So yeah, there's pretty clear like divide here between the left half and the right half, where yeah, it's not perfect. Some of these did see some increase right here, but all of these that started out high got much higher. So I'm okay with it. All right, everything checked out. I got no glaring problem words. I'm good to go. All right, so that's what you can hope for in a graphics question. And that's to say about half of graphics questions on the SAT will only concern the graph. Notice we did not read a word of this passage. Okay, we don't even know what's going on in this passage. All right, that's fine. If we're just trying to summarize information, that's fine. But we might see something like, oh, which choice is best supported by the data presented in two figures? Then I have to look at two figures. Or I might see something here, the two figures suggest that the author's use of Nevada, now I didn't read the passage. Okay, so just so you know, sometimes it's okay to disregard the passage, sometimes it's not when answering these questions. So if you're maybe really scrounging for time at the very end of a reading section, and you have the option to answer a graphics question like number 19, or even like number 20, where it's only asking about the charts or the graphs and not the passage in particular, those might be a good investment of time as opposed to reading the passage and maybe having time to answer one question half confidently. Okay, so that's my advice. Stay tuned for more graphics questions. Have a good one.